Hello everyone, it's Laura Jane. Thank you for being here today. This is my stop on the collaboration with the Stampwheel 2.0 from Altenew and Picket Fence Studios. My card today features these items from Picket Fence Studio. The sentiments are from the Graceful Magnolia stamp set. How cute is this? 1970s coffee cup die, wreath building centers and foliage, stamp set, a bow for any reason dies. I fell in love with this one. There are so many sweet bows in here. To make the card, I took an 8.5 by 11 piece of 110-pound white cardstock, cut it in half, and popped it into the Stampwheel 2.0, about an inch away from the left-hand side. The fun thing with this stamp wheel is I can put these little individual stamps onto the flip plate of the stamp wheel and get those placed as I wish first, and then ink each of them up individually as I go along. I love how I could use the Grateful Magnolia sentiments, thinking of you and hello, for this wreath. I used oak moss, fresh dye ink for the words. I wanted those to pop out from the wreath. Altenew's design team member JC has a video on how to place your stamps onto that flip plate according to a mathematic equation. It is a little bit beyond my brain, but it's a really helpful video to watch if you want things to be exact and precise. And JC does a very good job explaining all that. So once I have all of the sentiments stamped all the way around, so we're going to build a wreath using the Wreath Building Centers and Foliage stamp set. And I'm starting with the swamp green on one of the larger branches. And I'm just inking that up, flip, press, and repeat. I will list the items and supplies that I used in this video today in the description box below. I left some spacing there because I want to use a second color, those branches in between. So just create some fun interest. Once the first round is done, I used aloe vera for the second branches on that same inner circle. I filled it in rather nice and lush. Continued in the next round of foliage for the wreath, mixing up the ink colors, varying the greens, using small foliage. I love the mix of text and the foliage. One final outer ring of foliage using several of the stamps. So I wanted to turn this into a shaped card using that fabulous 1970s cup set. So I cut one layer from Wreath Mandala and then several layers of just white paper. And here is that all cut out. I'm going to take my fine tip tweezers and push those little bits of flour out right onto the stamp wheel. That sticky mat in the stamp wheel helps hold those in place so they don't get lost. This die has some little bits that pop out. So on the white one, I made sure those bits stayed in there, and I just glued the top one over. Doing a little bit of quick ink blending on those small pieces using the swamp green and the matcha tea. Coming in there with a small brush to add a little different tone to those. And then I take the white cup die cut, and I wanted to ink a little bit on the outside. Just a little hint of this is going to be peeking out from the card front that we just stamped. Putting a little bit of glue inside of the openings where our little tinier die cuts popped out. I'm going to use my tweezers to inlay those pieces right back in. It's just a very subtle color change, but I found the result to be quite nice. So use the scoreboard from Altenew to just score just a little bit at the top of a background here so that I could have a nice fold so my coffee cup could stand up. Here's the finished card and the shape of the 1970s coffee cup die. I was so excited how that turned out. How fun are the sentiments and express yourself stamp set. And my coffee bar is always open for you. Tea, cheaper than therapy. Oh, that's a great one. No to adding milk, but yes to that cookie. Ha! Love that one. So I'll choose one of these fun sentiments for the inside of the cup. And I made several of the Wreath mandala panels and chose to trim them in half to make several very simple card fronts. So I just quickly ran the dye ink over the top of a 2-card base just to get some color behind the front that I've trimmed down. I had a little bit of a mess up, double stamping on the words of thinking of you, and no problem whatsoever. I grabbed one of these sweet little bows, inked that up, and popped it right over the top. I don't think it's ever a problem to use embellishments to cover little mishaps, happy little mistakes on your cards. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the hop collaboration with Picket Fence Studios and Altenew. Happy hopping! And remember to craft your life with Altenew.